That makes perfect sense. In terms of one thing I just picked up on what you said there is in terms of the sourcing that you have to do in the nonprofit sector, it sounds like, you know, you have to interact with many different partners, maybe a lot of different geographies. You have to go, you know, into matrix organizations where there's different reporting structures. So there's quite a few different people you have to interact with there. And one of the things I'm just thinking about out loud is, you know, there's a misconception there that nonprofits don't have to get involved with governments or politics or anything like that. You know, they can just go in there, sort of save the day and, you know, improve people's lives on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to that. You actually have to engage with the local governments. You have to engage with, you know, the actual individuals, as you call them, customers. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the need to do things that are not necessarily specifically related to the nonprofit sector, like get involved with politics or seeing them as a customer and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think the politics are unavoidable. Taking a step back for just a moment, but it's worth saying that you can help now or you can help in the future. You know, humanitarian work and development work, and the way that you engage with politicians and with communities is different in each of them because, you know, if you're coming into, say, a drought relief situation with food parcels, how much you need to engage with whom, you know, maybe you'll need to work with the local politicians, the national politicians to ensure that you can get supply to the area that you're, you know, if it's a conflict zone that you'll get, you know, whatever protection is feasible, and, you know, you'll also be there on the watch out for corruption. But your engagement with the customer, the consumer, the recipient will be primarily transactional. But if you're trying to work on development, so say you're working with, you know, cooperatives. I was visiting a project working with you know, a lake that had been historically overfished, and the NGO was working with the local fishermen to make sure there's sustainable sourcing and sustainable offtake. So you understand how much fish you can harvest, that you keep within that the proceeds are shared, and then over time that you reinvest the profits from one year. Say you're getting ripped off by a middleman who's charging extortionate prices to take the product to Kigali. You know, they take the profit and they preserve a portion of that. This is the cooperative, not the NGO, and then invest that in a truck so that they can now transport their fish to market and get the additional premium. And that, you know, is a multi-year engagement with this fishing cooperative to improve their operations, to improve their management of the lake, as well as their financial, you know, the profit that they're making. And that sort of notwithstanding that there's, you know, significant sections of the NGO community that work on advocacy, which is essentially the realization that compared to government flows, even aid flows are tiny. You know, the things that are bigger than all the philanthropic flows, the aid flows are small compared to government flows. And so if you can improve the government's delivery of services, shift it, say, from maybe a subsidy on petrol to nutritional programming in the health sector so that, you know, women of childbearing age, young mothers get nutritional supplementation consistent with a healthy pregnancy and young child, you know, early childhood years, that could do a huge amount of good. So there are a lot of organizations that focus squarely on trying to influence and improve government government flows.